Peace, everybody. What can I say? We back. This is Eclectic Minds Podcast, and I'm here with a damn. How can I frame this? With a brother that I got a lot of love and admiration for. We met back up in upstate New York, Albany area when he was up here and shit, and and he gracing us with his presence on this podcast, man. I just want to say this too. Shout out to Liv. Liv is not on the podcast today. I'm holding shit down solo, but
shout out to Liv, man.
Yeah, word. She doing her thing, on some personal shit that she got to do. But she good though. She good. Ladies and gentlemen, my man Amxxr. What's up, brother?
Peace. How you, man?
Man, if I call it, I'll spoil it. So I just want to say this, man. Let me just say this too, so the people that they know why the fuck I'm interviewing him, other than the fact that matter that other than the fact that matter that we peanut butter complected together. We gotta keep our good complexion brothers together.
Gotta keep the tribe flowing, man.
Word. But yeah, fam. You a dope ass MC. You a dope person, but you a dope ass MC as well. And that's the thing yeah, brother, of course. That's the thing that I think, even when we first connected, you wore a lot of hats, you did a lot of things. I'm gonna allow you to touch on that shit. But
yeah,
my first, I was just saying to you off camera, my first shit with you when I was talking to you about how I met you. I just met you and I was like, yo, this brother, he just moved different. I like the way he moved, like the he doing this, that, and third. It was just a vibe that I got from you. And I was just like, yo, I like the fact that matter that how you moving. I peeped you. You good. I peeped you. And I was just like, yo, this motherfucker, he I know he ain't from Auburn. So then we started having our first conversation. I just knew it, man. Because you know what I'm saying, you wasn't moving the same, man. You was very, very on the low. You were chilling. You spoke your mind about different shit and topics and stuff like that. And you always had, some intelligent shit to say, but it was also coming from experience as well with the stuff that you was doing and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I remember just having just basic conversations with you just about, life, racial shit, and just and music. You was the first, matter of fact, let me just say this so the viewers know. You was the first motherfucker that I ever admitted to me. Like, you was like, yo, you fuck with Talib Kweli? I was like, yeah, I fuck with Talib. He's like, yo, you fuck with that Reflection Eternal album? I said, what? That shit is a clap. Yo, you was like, yo, I remember we was going back and forth like, yo, this shit crazy. You was one of the first people I was like, yo, this motherfucker know music.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that album, I think it was that was the album he had Just to Get By, and he also had the Blasters on there, right? Wasn't it? What album was that? That's the second album?
Hold on, what's the other shit you said he had on there? I'm gonna tell you, the single was The Blast.
The Blast, I was saying The Blast was on there, but but was Just to Get By wasn't on that album?
Nah, it was on the album after that.
The album after, but The Blast,
that album dope too.
Yeah, Blast. I think for me in that time, bro, it was just the fact that I appreciated the verbiage on the album. I appreciated the musicality of the project, and that was then, and this is now. Like, as far as like, but I'm not an avid super fan of him like I once was, right?
Yeah.
For other reasons, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get it.
But I can never disrespect his contribution and his skill set.
Word.
I don't know, my personal feelings about him may differ from time to time, but
yeah.
And I'm not being political. I'm not trying to be safe. I'm just being honest. Like,
yeah.
So, but I think lyrically he's on that spectrum of high excellence.
Word,
you know what I'm saying?
Word.
Yeah.
Him and most, Yasin Bey, like that Black Star album, they said is out. They said that shit got some shit on it. I gotta listen to it because the first Black Star album, that shit was amazing to me. Like,
yeah,
it's fucking amazing. It's to me. I tell people all the time that shit is a hip hop classic. Like that shit is crazy. It's right there. Eternal album, right? But I say that to say, I knew when you said that shit about that album, and then we discussed Nature, Nas, all these. I knew you was a lyrical dude. So it was like most people be like, "Oh, Zay, why you just listen to the words?" I'm like, nigga, it's not about just listen to the words. The beat will catch me, but if they're not saying shit over the beat, it's not gonna keep me. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta hear lyrical excellence. So when I first heard you rhyme, you started
Let's get
spitting
into it.
shit. Yeah. I was like, oh man, he got it.
Yeah.
You got it. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about it is that what I love is the fact of the matter that it ain't, it's not forced, man. The way you spit is like, it just pretty much sums up the fact of the matter of who the fuck you is, and like I said, I'm gonna let you touch on that shit.
No, I think, the evolution of how I approach music then versus now is totally different. I was in my infant stages, in my infancy of knowing how to approach record pocket, cadence, choice of word, how to syncopate a lot. Like, and then over the years, you pick up, jewelry in the studio, like from different people you work with, right? Artists, you pick up jewelry from life itself. So I think for me, what I started to do was just really, really, I found myself getting out of, letting my arrogance and my ego have a slow death to achieve a higher version of myself. And daily, I think we battle with that as human beings, so for me, man, I just, from then to now I'm like 5 different Amirs later, musically, in the chambers I went through.
The jewelry and shit like that, right? What do you think like that shit is like the main like jewel that you think that you necessarily can say that kind of changed, that helped you to change, like you said, to the 5 Amirs that you are later and shit?
That's a metaphor, but it's cool, right? So,
that shit is cool.
I think one that stood out to me was Heavy D, RP.
Word.
I was at the studio in New Jersey at Eddie F's house.
Oh man, another one.
And Dio and Hev was putting together some records, and I think Dio, we dropped him off at the airport. He was going to Jamaica, and you're the younger one out of the group, so not out of the group, but out of the group. They had just, I was still at my grandmother's crib in Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
And he said, "Yo, young God, we come back. Let's get in the lab. Or whatever. Let's get in the lab when I come back." I said, "All right, cool." And he said, "Yo, you're only one record away from changing your life." And I kind of like, one record away, and it made sense, and it still makes sense. But I think that's the plight of any great artist, is that knowing that and being happy, sad, whatever, and every other ball of emotion you go through to achieve that, or possibly not achieve that, but still take the lessons with you that add value to your life along the way. So to me, that was probably one of the more moments with an artist and a person, human being first, right? that that left me with something musically that like a jewel that that perched have working with arsonists, right? And my relationship with him over the years, like, when people was damn near ready to chop a finger off to get a heat maker's beat, right?
Yeah.
And I was working with my bro for some time. And now, I mean, the jewels I got from arsonists was more I learned about pocket, and he would always tell me, you gotta find your voice. And he never forced me or would scream about finding a voice. He kind of let it, he said, I eventually found it, but when I found it, by the time I found it or whatever, then I got signed to Pete, right?
Word, shout out to Pete Rock.
Yeah, so I got signed to Pete Rock, and then when that happened, I go into the other, dojo, right? And
Word, that's an ill way of saying that shit, God. Word. That's exactly what the fuck that shit is, a dojo.
Yes. So I'm taking lessons from multiple studio sessions, multiple disappointments, multiple small achievements, some greater than others. And you become a culmination of all of these experiences to realize that, you attract kind of what you are, is what I started to learn, right? So if somebody great is willing to work with you, it's because they see something great in you, right? Now, they can't make you be great, but you have to put in the work. So I think that when great people can recognize other great people and greatness, but it's your job to find a purpose in it and kind of do the legwork. So, and that's what I learned from Pete more so and along with multiple other jewels that he shares and has shared with me, like in regards to he always talks about patience and being patient, and not letting the public rush your process, right? So that's one of his pillars in his life is not rushing his process for. And when you're eager, ready to come out, I got the your album is done, I want to drop it, blah blah blah. And I think sometimes people may confuse, not him, but in general, a generalization is that patience being misunderstood for knowing your purpose.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that with him, if the transition has been for me to further understand my purpose, music and in just life, right? The opportunities you get, the people you meet, and how you salvage or maintain relationships you have, and like I said, man, when you living in your truth, when you living in your truth, when you get in the booth, the songs just write themselves. You don't really have to force it. So now I don't really force myself. I kind of allow myself to be a vessel. So I'm present. I look up, and so pretty much is let the universe use me for whatever message it needs me to say that night. And whether that message is the most popular or non-popular message is not for me to harp on. It's just I'm here to be, say what needs to be said and move on. Like I said before, the messenger is never bigger than the message. And if you ever think that you are bigger than the message that you may be used to say, you will no longer be used for messages, because any of our greatest leaders throughout time, man, who got ahead of their message, sometimes that became their demise, right? And if I learn anything from watching my fellow human beings over the last 5 billion plus years of the existence of this planet, is that, and how long human beings been on the planet, is that the nature and our nature and how we deal with each other, those intrinsic conscious and unconscious biases that we carry that shape, everything that we do from art to our basic decision-making process. So I just been really, trying to, not even trying. I've been simplifying a lot of complicated shit in my bars. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'll leave, the legwork for the listener, but leave you have, that's how I approach it. So like I said, if you got 16 bars, that's 16 opportunities to leave somebody with something to walk away with. If I have 16 free throws and I don't hit one free throw, then I'm trash. So if you're an artist and you got 16 bars, and out of 16 bars, bro, you don't leave the listener with something to walk away with, it just comes down to step and repeating until you consistently can leave a listener with something of value from a verse, good, bad, or indifferent. So that's my approach. And if you got 2 verses, you got 32 free throws to hit, and to catch one joint. Because some people will fuck with you off of one line, and they'll try to find more shit to fuck with you.
Yo, speaking of that, right? So get back to the whole process. I'm gonna touch on that shit, the whole process. And you said finding your voice. That shit is deep and that's dope, because one of my favorite movies of all time is the Ray Charles movie, that Jamie Foxx. He killed that role, whatever. And one of the main things in that movie, I remember when Ray, before he found his voice, is that he was imitating a lot of the singers that he liked, Nat King Cole. You know what I'm saying? He was imitating them. And I remember the producers and shit, they was pulling him aside. They was like, Ray, you sound like this, you sound like that. And I think that's the beautiful thing about finding who you are, even though you trying to emulate other people, but you finding who you are, is because it take work to even do that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I first heard you spit, I knew you already had it because of the shit that you was saying. It's like, I touched on that, now I'm gonna touch on this. You were just talking about the bars. 16 bars, you know what I'm saying? You got 16 chances. 32 bar, now you got 32 chances, right? Today I was walking through Walmart, grabbing a couple of things. One of my favorite songs of all time, Street Dreams, the remix with Nas and R. Kelly. Brother, he said some shit, and that song came out, I think it was 98, 99, I think. But I know it was around that time. He said shit then in that verse that to me is still relevant now. And the shit it blew my mind, because he was like, since a child, hope is all we had, plus the plushed out past complaining, the mental straining. How many of my crew was into gaining, subtract the weaklings from out the chaining, rise and start raining. Blasphemy, using Nas' name in vain, some claim supreme being, yet they lied in his name. Yo, when you hear that type of shit, right? That
goosebump me right now.
Me too, family. It goosebump me too. Cause I'm right, even right now. But even when I was listening to it when I was going through Walmart, I'm like, yo, this nigga said this shit then, but it's still relevant now. But it's how he painted that shit.
He was a messenger, bro.
And then he added to that. He's like, yo, I saw my life flash in front of my eyes. He wore the skies, put a gun in me. Hungry, he went on a chastise. That's Nas, ain't it? Made it rich from entertainment.
Yeah.
Fresh while he's paying, as he told the kid he came with. Yo, when I listen to shit like that, brother, I'm just gonna, like you said, he's sinking every free throw. Like, I'm seeing what he's saying. It's the same shit with you. Like, I heard singles from you. I've heard shit that you spit to me when you first started doing the rap shit back then, when you was upstate Albany, when we used to kick it in Crossgates Mall, when we was in the whip, just building about life shit. You know, I fucked with you, Amir, because I knew you was that dude. To say shit like that, not to say it like Nas, because there's only one Esco, but
that's
exactly. But to say your shit, how you say your shit, and it still be like, damn, he said what? That's why That's why the lyrics like you said, you couldn't have made it a better metaphor. That's why the lyrics be grabbing me and be, like you said, sinking the free throws. Them shits just be the beat could be, that beat is all right. But it's what he was saying that I think in any music or any genre or anything, especially that captivates.
And that's, you know, all of the greats, man. I carry any artist I listen to in my DNA somewhere because they've impacted me. I took in time out of my life to listen to them, good, bad, or indifferent, right? A verse on 21 Grams. I said, I'm in the crib watching Farrakhan. My phone is charging. I remember Public Enemy, the media painted me as a target. The world is yours, but I feel like it's running from me. And reading books by Malachi that got me feeling funny. It's demon time, but I've been praying through the God hour. I fought a lot, breaking atoms while I make dower. My paragraphs of prophecy painted through the lens of my medulla. On the track of parkways, but the flow was still Mashula. Size 11 night airs will make reality shit. Was poverty struck, I rocked until the leather was split. Dutch breaking concentration. My eyes is red as sorrow. Waste drinks, not time, because I know it's borrowed. I got a army behind me, but I'm pleased as Gandhi. Promoters booking me, you think about Nisha Sami. I got the blueprint, thinking like that kid from Marcy. I speak math, but lately I've been learning Farsi. When you the answer to the question, you ain't gotta practice. I made money outside and put it in the mattress. The way I kick shit, you can't stop this flow with Imodium. And I speak like Pulitzer Prize winners while at the podium. Man, see, so, and I say that because I'm gonna say something niggas may think I'm bugging. If the Jays or the Nazis had said those same words in their verses, niggas would have said they hit every free throw, right? But when you want to come up, you got to be reminded that you also got to hit free throws when nobody's watching or listening, because then they'll go back and be like, "Yo, he dropped 20 in this game." So I didn't kick that verse to combat what Nas was saying. I said it to also support the theory of, you love this shit, you got to do it when nobody's listening, nobody's watching, bro.
Yeah.
If you really genuinely love the craft.
I mean, I think, go ahead, not to cut your wisdom, go ahead.
That's all I love. No, I'm with you.
No, I just think, like, even like the shit you just spit, like I said, you seen my face. Like, I tell motherfuckers all the time, when you see that face, that means you said some shit. Like, I just can't help it, guy. Like, I can't help it. Like that shit you just said, like you said, it wasn't to combat him. You just spitting your shit, and that shit crazy. But like, I got me and my friends, shout out to Step Jesus, shout out to John Jams, 2 DJs, my brothers, been in this fiasco shit since '96. We always talk about music. We always talk about the classic albums. We always talk, like, Steph is a big Mobb fan. He probably listened to more Mobb Deep albums than I've ever did. You know what I'm saying? Because I can't, because I gotta tell people all the time, The Infamous is one of them, the best. It's one of the best albums, period. I don't give a fuck if it's Mobb Deep or anybody. That shit is a classic album. Temperatures Rising is one of my favorite Mobb Deep songs of all time. Like, first of all, when it bugged me the fuck out to know that Q-Tip made that beat. I said, Tip made that shit? Because it sounded like a Havoc beat. But when you read the cover, it say it right on there. And I'm like, yo, this shit is amazing. Then he did the Give Up the Goods beat too. That shit's crazy. But my point is this. Those songs, again, it captivated me because it's the story that P and Had was spitting when they was talking about Temperatures Rising. I see Smart Police snuck you out the projects we got. I'm like, listen to this shit. Grandma broke my tape and threw it in the trash. Cause I'm playing that shit like every day. And I'm turning it down because I'm like, yo, she can't hear the curse words. I'm trying to turn it down. But she's still hearing it, even though she in her bedroom like 3 rooms away. So when she broke my shit, my heart damn near broke. But I'm saying all that to say this, man. Hip hop and music is so exciting to me, especially when you spitting like you do, how they was spitting, how Esco, how Nas spit. the Jay-Z's, even the new generation. Kendrick is a fucking problem. J. Cole.
Animal. Straight. Aliens.
J. Cole, Drake. Even, people try to shit on that Drake shit, his new shit.
Listen,
he got some other.
And
that shit is dope. I'm not even on fucking front.
But, and I'm gonna say something that's crazy though. Not even that it's crazy. Is that's another thing in the culture of hip hop that I think needs to be assessed and purged. Is niggas think when you tell another nigga he nice, it take away from you, and it doesn't. If I see a nigga, I don't care if he's 7, I don't care if he's 75. If he say some shit, I'm like, no, that nigga nice,
exactly.
Right? Now, it gets put into these different categories and subcategories of, oh, you dick riding, oh, you on the niggas out, you doing. I'm like, nah, nigga, to keep it a buck. But it's okay if everybody's saying he's nice. But to say somebody's nice before the world knows they're nice is kind of like where people don't like to take that chance as much because of honestly, because of programming, right? Exactly. That's a whole nother conversation. So to me, specifically, Amir, I've seen niggas and I heard niggas that people may hear, may never hear in their life. And I told them niggas, my favorite rapper, one of my favorite rappers, doesn't have a deal. Nobody heard, not saying nobody, he doesn't have the reach, but he's one of my top 5. And I'm not basing this off of records. I'm basing it off the shit he be saying.
Correct.
Facts. Correct. My man Dox Diggler, Die or Excel, is an alien. He said so much shit. And he was in Crash with us. He said, my flow is dirty like the Jersey Shore. I'm like Tom Castaway on an island just looking for a sturdy oar. Like, he said, there's so many quotables. The Fiend love it. He said the Fiends. He said I'm in the lab by 5. I'm in the car by 4. And I'm in the booth by 5 and in the hood by 6. The Fiends that type of shit. He said shit like I put a G on your head. That so many quotables. That Green Bay Packers shit. Like it's just the simplistic entendres, double entendres, triple entendre, whatever you want to call it. Like I love slickness. I'm a fan of slick talk, and I pride myself on saying slick shit. I like to say something slick where niggas be like, what the fuck he said? Exactly. Oh, that's great. I want to be like, oh, I want niggas to run it back 3 times. Like, oh, no, that's crazy.
Let me ask you this, like on that point of the slick rappers, because me and my mans, we always talk about this shit too. Two of the best slick talk rappers ever. They from the old school. You can call them whatever school you want to call them from, but they from when we grew up. Is Hov, Jay-Z, and Kiss. Like it get no better than that. And these like motherfuckers, another classic album. The Lox first album is a classic album. Motherfuckers talking about that. Oh, they was with Puff. Nigga, I don't give a fuck who they was with. If you sit down and you listen to that album, they all saying some shit. And in every song, they saying some shit. Now, it might not have been the street shit, everybody, but I don't give a fuck about that shit. At the end of the day, bars is still bars, lyrics is still lyrics, and the shit that they saying, if my face doing this, like you said, nigga gonna run it back like 3-4 times in his head. That's what I'm hearing.
Bro, I've heard to me, Amir, some of the greatest rappers I heard never had a deal, bro. They never had and maybe it was an opportunity, could have been their work ethic. It's just like the NBA and the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Do the best players always get into the league? No, the best players that played in the system.
Yeah.
Were able to navigate. So, but if you ask everybody in the NBA, they're gonna know at least 2 to 5 niggas that they'll tell you that nigga can play in the league, bro.
Exactly.
But you might not hear it. You might not hear this person because, decisions they made in their life might have strangled some of their opportunities, which later then had a chain reaction to a lot of other shit.
Yo, so speaking of that, right, that was a perfect segue to this shit that I'm about to say to you, right? So two situations, fam. So I'm gonna talk to the one I really want to talk about first. Then we gonna get to the crazy motherfucker that's just doing all this dumb shit. So I seen the Nori shit, the Drink Champ shit. I seen then I compared it to when Mav Hoffa had Nature on his shit, right? And he was talking about the different situations happen with, you know, his situation and coming up, you know what I'm saying, with the mixtape shit and he doing all this stuff. I always felt, and I want to hear your shit on this, man. I always felt like Nature should have been bigger than what he was. Cause he, like you said, oh, Son Nice. I mean, he had a deal, had an album, had 2 albums, had whatever. But the shit that he say and said on the mixtapes and all the shit that he doing, and even after the fact, man, like, he's one of my favorite rappers of all time. I mean, the nigga, he still probably could have been one of my favorite rappers of all time just with the mixtape shit. Like,
I personally have learned to not let non-elite media shape my opinion on what is great art, and who, and numbers and metrics does not determine the quality of one's work.
Yeah.
It never has.
Yeah.
Right. But for so many years we were pushed into that because it feeds a pipeline of, you know, shit. Now to your point, I'm a very eclectic, you know, music listener. Like, I remember listening to Sampa. Nobody knew who he wasn't as popular, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look on Sampa, he's still kind of like discreet, Vory, like new artists, older artists. It didn't matter to me. I mess with the fire and the groove. If somebody groovy,
yeah,
and they talking slick, I'm a fan. Simple. I pull up to your show. I salute. I'll pay for my ticket.
Word.
I don't care if I sold 20 million records. I'm gonna pay for my ticket.
Exactly.
And I'm pulling up to your show. You know why? And you don't have to do it for me. This is me because I want to go through the process of total enjoyment of something that I genuinely like. I don't want you pulling up, give you some tickets. No, bro. How much are the tickets? I'm paying. And when I get in, you can give me, you know, access, but I want to make sure that you get this for me showing up, because I know that you work. Now I know that you work hard for what you get. It's just interesting though.
It is.
You know how we've allowed ourselves and our minds to kind of be shaped to not like things subconsciously because it's not popular.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part about art.
Yeah, and the way
it kind of stifles the growth of it a little bit.
True indeed. And the reason why I brought him up is because when I watched those platforms, they were saying, you know, how and he was saying, like, but without saying it, it was kind of like he was, was stagnant on his career and the things and the opportunities. It's like you said, a motherfucker that was nice as hell, that played ball and did all these things, but he ain't in the league, or he ain't this, or he didn't get that same opportunity as somebody else because of the work ethic. And it could have been a multitude of different things. But the thing is that when I just feel is that when people don't get that platform and that just do, you know what I'm saying, to really, really be in a place where I think that the masses can really hear them. I think it's just, it's a it's, I ain't gonna say the word sad because it's not sad, because things happen for whatever reason, how the universe line this shit up. But I think it's a disservice to the fact of the matter of the people that these people could possibly reach, and they didn't actually have the opportunity to do so. It's like when Len Bias passed away and he never actually got to play. You know what I'm saying? In the league like he was supposed to. You know what I'm saying? Because he passed away. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And then you can't help but the question, like, damn. Like, I wish this shit would have happened differently. You know what I'm saying? To see this man career take off, or this person career take off and do the things that I feel as though that their talent would allow them to do.
Yeah.
And like the Kanye shit. Speak to that too. But go ahead, you finish your thought, bro.
I mean, I'm good. I mean, talk to me about what's up with
It's
Ye.
just like, just like the Kanye shit. Like I'm getting text messages. They like, yo, this motherfucker running around here with the White Lives Matter shirt. Like, and I told somebody straight up, family, real talk, man. I said, bruh, he need help. Like the man ain't been right since his mom's passed away, and God bless the dead.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen the Kanye documentary. A part of me didn't want to watch it, but part of me was like, you know what? I'm gonna give this shit a chance because at one time I was a huge fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
Those first 3 albums, College Dropout, Graduation,
Mm-hmm.
What am I missing? Late Registration. Like them shits is classics to me, man. Like a lot of those songs, those albums, like hit me right in the heart. Like, yo, this shit is this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? But to see him go to where to where he at now, man, I feel as though it really is a product of the fact that his mom's not here. That's one of his biggest champions, and the fact of the matter that his money is not buying him uh, anything that can afford him, his mental health stuff, and the people that's around him, I can't speak to that. That's his group of people, tribe, or whatever the fuck you want to call them. But man, if that was me, and me and you, family, and I consider you like a brother, I would want you to, rather I want to hear that shit or not, just say, yo, brother, this shit has got to stop. Like, you got to get some help, and you need this shit now. Like, what you think about that shit?
Well, because of my position with that, knowing people. Well, a friend of mine that's a super close friend of Ye's. I'm not really qualified to speak on like whether he needs help or not, but I do have an opinion on. I mean, I can clearly look and see like maybe some of the stuff that's done publicly may not be so savory. I don't know. I'm not. I can't say if it's well thought out, if it's sporadic in nature, but the backlash of it is something that he has to consider or not. Maybe now, if you are referring to the White Lives Matter shirt with him, there's always a huge policing of words nowadays, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's not as much policing of actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, him wearing that shirt to me, okay, I could say it could be honestly, bro. I'm not even I'm just so numb to. I'm looking at him like I'm not stunned. I'm not surprised. I'm not. I look at it and I'm trying to rationalize like
That's the same shit here.
If this is a ploy
That's the
for
same shit here.
For attention, or if you're trying to send like a mixed message, you may have probably wanted to put out a disclaimer to if he cares, or maybe he doesn't, to really look at the layers to that. It's apparent that, okay, for instance, I heard somebody talk about this before. They said that when you talk about Black Lives Matter or White Lives Matter or Blue Lives Matter and the issues that surround it, there are huge, hidden, right,
Yeah.
and unhidden biases that help these things function, and they function because of people's lack of understanding about the effects of certain isms that contribute to racism, hate crimes, and etc. Right?
Right.
So to me, to see if a Black person wears a White Lives Matter shirt and you may have a white friend, or you may have a half white child and you're trying to send them a message to, or whatever the case may be, that's kind of, you still want to have a conversation about it, right? there is no, still will never measure up to the amount of Black lives that were lost at the hands of, racism,
Correct.
hatred, greed, and anger towards melanated people, period. So there's a huge conundrum that surrounds, us as a society, but even more so, my question to the public would be, why would you hold court, a public opinion on Ye wearing a shirt? But also, if we're gonna do that with Ye, which we are doing that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take the same energy and apply it to these other crimes that we do to each other that are actually killing each other, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We don't necessarily have the same attack, because we start saying, what, that's just how it is. So
Yeah.
let's if we're gonna measure, these public inflammatory actions that he may do amongst other people, right? And standing next to Candace Owens, who's clearly suffers from some form of self-hatred deep down, and she seems to be highly intelligent, but she's blind to some of the things and how they operate.
Yeah.
For Black people in America and globally. So the shirt has probably sparked more conversation across social media, right? And having conversations like this than an artist, than P&B Rock's killer.
True indeed.
Than Nipsey's killer.
True indeed.
Then the niggas who shot a little TJ, then artists that are out here dying. We don't rally the same way, but we all worry about words on this man's shirt. But what about the words on people's eulogies that we put in the grave, that we don't have the same drive to go fix the problem?
Well, that's
to
the
me,
thing.
The shirt was not the problem.
No, it wasn't.
Right? But what to me, what it triggered, and what is still triggering, like Ahmaud Arbery's mother said that this, like, her statement about it was incredible, it was graceful. Like, she pretty much saying it was disgusting that she would do that, knowing that my son, and this is extremist, I mean, this is not quote for quote.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it's this extremist culture that we have, right? And that was the same extreme culture that took her son's life.
True indeed.
It's the same, so with the, I'm at a stage where I look at it, I'm like, yo, that's bugged out, man.
I feel the same way, but I brought it up to say, because at the end of the day, it's the fact that, man, like, the man gonna do what the fuck he gonna do. But my thing is this, is that it just hurts me to see that when a person has, and it's obvious, man, I don't care what the fuck, I mean, he just admitted it himself.
He did say
it's a mental health thing. It's a mental health thing.
Yes, but if George Bush doesn't care about Black people, what do you wearing that shirt say, would be my question.
Exactly. So bring it back to that's the Kanye that they were saying that he was excitable, he was this, that, and the third. But at the same time, I felt that person.
But know what? I would give him the opportunity to explain if he wanted to. He may not even feel, and honestly, he doesn't owe anybody that. He doesn't owe anybody's shit. And because like I said, when people become so rich, it's a quote I heard years ago. They become so heaven. Don't be so heavenly holy that you'll know earthly good.
That's it.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and money and the energy that surrounds money and the way it weaponizes some of our demons.
It enables them. And enables them. You know what I'm saying?
And people,
a whole bunch of enablers, man. You know what I'm
saying? And people that may be around, they may be saying shit. I don't know. I'm not qualified to say. They may be telling him he's bugging.
Me either.
He may not, right? So he may not, and I know for the people that may be close to that camp, right?
Mhm.
And whatever he's suffering from, or a point he's trying to make, or he just wants to, I don't know, but clearly from a very shrewd and fucked up, just shot through the heart standpoint, he don't owe anybody shit, not even an explanation, right? He doesn't. But in Black culture, we have to stop giving people this empty power that really doesn't exist. Oh, the power of influence. No, wearing clothes or listening to music is not elite power. It's not. And we need to stop saying that it is, because it's not. Somebody still cuts your checks. The media that we listen to is not elite media. It doesn't shape. We don't have enough media control to control Black narrative globally. No matter how many podcasts matter of fact, I digress. Currently, we don't have it.
Currently, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
So we don't shape our
culture
view. Yeah, we don't shape the culture, but we don't shape the view of our culture on media, elite media.
Yeah.
Because elite media trickles down. Because people look at elite media like, if I want to be this big, I have to follow this format.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So whether it's a smaller podcast looking at a bigger one, I should follow this book because this worked for them.
Oh, indeed.
Or X, Y, and Z. So to me, when I look at, the entire thing with artists and the things in Black culture that we say is an issue, but the other thing that's way more deadlier is not, or we just shun it or hush it because we normalize the behavior.
Oh, that shit is an issue. They just normalizing that bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, to speak to what you just said, that's perfect, is that, like Shannon Sharp has said that shit too, that, when we see shit that's happening in our culture, we shouldn't be, like you said, normalizing that shit. We shouldn't be like saying, oh, well, that's just how shit is. Like, I always tell people this, and I just had a conversation with another guest that we had. Shout out to Tyrone Hughes. He wrote a book, a kid on Arbor Hill, and he grew up in Arbor Hill and stuff like that. And I was talking to him about some of the things he changed in his life and all that other stuff. Point that we made in that interview, and then even to talk about the shit in here, even with you. I know some roads you might have went down was a dark path, and this, that, and the third. Life is about decisions, nigga. So when it come down to it, like I had said to him, when you get to a certain mindset to say that, well, I'm gonna do this, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, you got to live with those decisions, And the thing about it is that Black people, correct, Black people support Black people. Like the shit you said earlier about, I'm gonna come to the show, here go my money, brother. You know what I'm saying? I want to show you that I'm here for you. You know what I'm saying? But the niggas is the problem. And I say that because it's a mentality, man. It's a mentality, because when they come down to it, is that they don't want people to excel if it's like something that they ain't fucking with, or even something that they don't think should be done. You know what I'm saying? They well, I don't fuck with this dude because it's like people that that don't fuck with somebody because they don't fuck with somebody else that of, some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? It's that mentality, man. And at the end of the day, I know that everybody, Black, brown, white, green, don't make a difference. The colors don't what bring people together. It's the character. And when your character is fucked up, you moving fucked up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem. Like you said, when you normalize shit, and when like death happens, like you said, PNB Rock, shout out to his family, God bless the dead. That shit should never be acceptable. But we traumatized.
Yeah, bro. Nobody's talking about it as much.
That's what I'm saying. We so traumatized.
We moved 2 weeks later. We're talking about, no disrespect to you, anybody. We're talking about words on Ye's shirt.
But it wasn't even just the words. It was the fact that mattered that
what he said. Like I get it, the message.
Yeah, it's the mental shit.
But and I agree 1,000%.
Yeah.
But as a culture, Niggas is out here dying, and we're not making it as much of an issue as we're making shit that's not killing us.
And there has to be. And I totally agree, brother. I agree with
so
you.
we need to possibly,
another Farrakhan meeting.
Nah, I don't know if that's. I don't think that is enough anymore, right? How many times can Farrakhan talk to Black people, and they not mobilize, not mobilize in their homes and in their mind first? Like, let me make the change here, because the issues we face, the first battle is with oneself to not believe a lot of the shit you've been taught, right? To the deprogramming of there is a reboot, a new iOS update in Black culture that needs to happen, right? And then that reboot, some updates need to happen, right? In mind and heart, which would affect the soul, right? Yeah. Of how we move privately, how we move publicly, what we think, and how we action. And I'm not saying be, kumbaya positive moments. No, I'm just saying realistically to create huge leaps of evolution in something that we created. It starts with the mindset, bro. And if every time somebody says something that makes sense, we try to play that nigga like, oh, you on some woke shit.
Yeah, nah.
Oh, you want this? That is half of self. That to me, that's self-hatred.
It's exactly self-hatred.
It is a subtle form of self-hatred. Yeah. It's a subtle form of self-hatred because why, if somebody's telling you something that's factual, we come from a so-called keep it real culture, right? They'll keep it a buck. Well, I'm keeping it a buck with you.
Yeah.
But this buck that I'm giving to you is too expensive because it's gonna cost you to change, nigga.
True indeed.
The cost is individuals have to change, including myself, including oneself. Right?
Me too. Exactly. I totally agree.
So to me, it's not, the real. There's too many issues and not enough solutions in the time we're in, right? You have so many issues, so many solutions, and so little time. And that sums up how I would sum up present day Black America.
Yeah. And
so many issues, so many solutions, but so little time to fix them.
And let me add to this too. Mm-hmm. We don't have the leadership like we used to have too, man. The Malcolm, brother. Let me just say this. I'm gonna keep it all the way to fuck 100 right now. One of my favorite movies of all time is Malcolm X. All right. Besides the fact that Denzel Washington killed that role, the part of that movie and I watched that, and that's a 3 hour long movie. I watched that shit like if it's on TV, if I just want to watch it, I watch it religiously. You know what I'm saying? Because that movie, it just speaks to me about a man.
Evolution.
He just transcended to a whole nother place, like you said, mentally, and emotionally, and his soul was just on fire for his cause and for what he believed in. Brother, every time I hear Ossie Davis say that eulogy, that shit bring tears in my eyes. It bring like every time when I watch that movie, bro, and I hear that eulogy, and Ossie Davis say that, man, and that shit, my shit will just start watering up, because the words that he's saying, man, is exactly what Malcolm was. Martin, this, that, and the third. And the thing about too is that other cultures, they try to diminish these people's legacies by bringing up, their vices or these shit that whatever they did or they said this was fucked up. That shit does not tarnish who these people were to Black people. Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton. I mean, they did it because they love their people. That's what it comes down to. Because in order for you to sacrifice everything, it has to be bigger than you. And that's what you were saying earlier about the messenger. Sometimes with the message it can be too big and sometimes that'll take you out. Whatever.
I said the messenger should never think he's bigger than the message.
Than the message. Okay. Correct.
Yeah. And
and to that point, where's the messages coming from now, man? You know what I'm saying? Where would they be coming from?
Bro, they come up from me, guys like me, like yourself, and but it doesn't mean that the messengers is not out there, right? It's a lot of distortion, a lot of static between in human communication because people don't really realize that we're slowly being desensitized to the art of conversation versus, I could text you, I could do X, Y, Z. Most people, I retract. A lot of people have a hard time communicating, and that's generational, right?
True indeed.
If it was bad before, it's ultra bad now.
Word.
And me personally, I don't subscribe to Black leaders, and I'm gonna say this to you. They are great examples, excellent examples. But the problem that I have with take me to your leader is that no other culture has identified one person as their leader. So if I get rid of this one leader, people feel like there is no plan in place, right? It's like you shoot the sheep, you shoot the shepherd, the sheep scatter, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, I feel like that is almost a form of a different kind of enslavement where you can't be a free thinker. You guys have to have a leader. There are no free thinkers amongst you. But we can have, you never see other ethnic groups say, take me to your leader. Who's the leader of this group of people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear about it. I had groups that they have within their, ethnic groups or culture that may lead for an idea or a purpose. But in Black culture, in America specifically, anytime we've ever identified one person as the leader, it has absolutely been a deathly price to pay because one person chose to say, I'm him, instead of saying, we are them.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's more of a we thing. It's more of a we thing than an I thing. Mm-hmm. And if there's multiple people who know how, to lead their homes, you won't need one leader to lead everybody, because to me, it's kind of archaic in this approach. Like, we live in an age now where a lot of information can be passed on, like discreetly. For the most part, that can also be tracked.
Yeah.
But I look at myself as, a leader, but not the leader. And I say that with complete belief in that, right? I do believe that our leadership shouldn't have a template look or organization, because we don't live in templates of the same organizations we did 50, 60 years ago, 40, 30, even 20, right?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Life is moving at a speed where, we should really be concentrating on the things that are going to yield results now, presently, and in the future. But taking so many lessons and sacrifices from the past with us is what, us being able to even talk on this freely, right?
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere probably shed blood for that, right?
True indeed. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I do believe that, giving one person credit versus giving multiple people credit who led, they might have led a moment, they might have led an idea behind closed doors or in public.
Mm.
Everybody at the podium should never, to me, overshadow the people who never hit the stage.
Yeah.
That were great leaders in our communities that may not have had the popularity of a Malcolm or Martin or whatever. I know great men from my community, right, that may never get that recognition, but their impact was the same on people's lives.
Definitely.
Right. So
definitely.
Yeah, so I think that approach at times gets us more into a pickle than it does out of some of our dire situations that we find ourselves in.
I can agree with some of that stuff you said. I just think that with that, I just think that Black people and brown people, we don't have, like you said, we all could be free thinkers and stuff like that, but I just think sometimes people don't, they look for somebody else just within our culture to follow behind, because let's just be honest, they scared. It takes a lot to stand up to the wrongs of this country, the wrongs of this world. It take a lot. I mean, every day when we walk out our house as Black and brown men, you know what I'm saying? We get treated differently because of the fact of the matter of just that. They don't know us. We don't do anything to even be put in the back of police cars or killed or shot or all these things that be happening to us that doesn't happen to other ethnic groups and stuff like that. We don't do half the shit they even say that we do, or they'll create some story to do some shit to justify why they took our lives and stuff like that. And I feel as though that's why a lot of people don't, the we aspect of what you stated, don't, come together as often as we should, because of the fact of the matter that, they scared of the backlash. They scared of even the trauma that we necessarily deal with that we don't even speak about. Like mental health, even in our community, is a stigma in itself. Like when I talked about Kanye West earlier, the shirt, fuck the shirt. What I'm hurt about when I look at this brother is I see a brother that has a whole bunch of money, but he's still not happy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't gotta know that nigga personally to sit up there and say, I'll tell him to his face. Like Kanye, you got all this money, and I know you still not happy. Because at the end of the day, I'm willing to bet you, because even if somebody gave me $1 billion tomorrow, right? And somebody said, Jose, you got $1 billion now. What you gonna do with it? I said, man, if I could take half of this $1 billion to bring my grandmother back who raised me back just for a couple of months, I'll do that shit in a split second. That money don't matter to me more than that relationship mattered to me. You understand what I'm saying? So I know somewhere in that man's heart of hearts, man, he missing his mom. That shit fucking him up every day, because there's no coming back. Once you're gone, there's no coming back. And to touch on the shit that we saw about earlier, we have to mobilize and be more, outspoken about the deaths, the murders, just at the hands of each other, man. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, is that, it should never be normal to take another person's life because you didn't give that person their life to begin with. And that's the shit that has to change, man. I want to say to you too, man, just on a conversational tip, that the different conversations that we had just on this podcast, you never cease to amaze me, brother, because coming from the time when we used to build and kick it just in awe when you was up here and stuff like that, to seeing you now, the growth as a man, the evolution of an artist and all the things that you do and stuff like that, man. I'm so thankful that we still have our friendship
Mm-hmm.
and relationship, despite the fact that matter we talking about your career. You signed with Pete Rock. That shit is dope. You're doing dope things. You're gonna still move in all these different directions to in your career with this stuff and whatever. All
Mm-hmm.
that's great, man. But I really want to just give you your props on, man, and show you a lot of love and admiration for you right now. And and I'll say this is that just thank you, brother, for just always being a stand-up dude, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I
I
said,
appreciate it.
nah,
It's
man.
hard. It's hard.
Yeah, bro.
It's hard though. It's tough.
It might be hard for some, but I'm gonna be honest with you, man. When we got touched, we reconnected and shit like that. It was like you said, it was a message through Instagram. I seen you was signed with Pete Rock. I seen you was doing your thing. And it was just like, damn, how can I support this man? That's the first thing I thought of. Like when the album coming out, when you got the mixtapes, you got what can I do? And that's how I feel now. I can't wait for the album to drop. You got that shit coming. I want you to plug that before we get off this shit and wrap this shit up. But
Absolutely.
But it just, I'm just super proud of the fact of the matter that not where you at in your life, but the things that you overcame, but also the fact that it was nothing for you to reach back once I hit you with the Instagram message and say, yo, brother, I just want to say, yo, I'm proud, man, of you. Shit is dope. This, that, and third. You wasn't on, oh, there's some corny shit. Niggas ain't even proud of I meant that shit. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like when you reached back, you was like, nah, yeah, we got to catch up. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And it just,
Yeah. I mean, yo, man, I sincerely appreciate it. I just don't, I treat the owner the same way I treat a worker, with the same respect, man, because we're human beings first.
True indeed.
That's how I govern my life. Like, I don't care if, I'm a human being before anything else. I'm a man. I'm a human. I'm a, earth walking, part of the human being species out here, man. I just can't. I can't see myself falling victim to, classism or elitism. Personally, that's not my cup of tea. So I sincerely appreciate it, man. I just can't. I just not in me to act funny with nobody.
It's not, and that's why I have such admiration and love for you, man, because you are who you was when I met you then, in regards to the fact and matter of how your life blossomed and you evolved, not just as the man, but just as the artist. You know what I'm saying? Amir, I really appreciate you, man. I appreciate this conversation. Mount Vernon, zone. You know what I'm saying? You signed with Pete Rock, man. What you got cooking now, man, before we get out of here, man? What's popping up for you?
Right now on Tru Soul, Pete got the return of the SP 1200 coming in November, month away. I have 21 grams worth this weight in soul out now.
Yeah.
You can stream it. Look at the name Amxxr on Pete Rock. You'll find it. The album with Pete, that's the mixtape. The album Dope Boy. So, date to be announced when we're dropping it. I'm cooking up, other Lucy's in the meanwhile, man, treats for the listeners, and I made, the discussion is, we're gonna put out another tape right before the project. So that's almost, if it's not done, it's done or not done. I mean, we have enough records for sure. New video to keep, pushing more, for further push. I got coming on October the 11th. It's called Lock. The video, and we got that it's like a long, I can't call it a freestyle or record. It's a joint. I'm gonna call it a joint. It's gonna be it's a joint.
Word.
And you can stream that on on the other, not the typical DSPs, but the DSPs, Apple Music, Spotify, etc. Yeah. And the new video for that, which is dropping, with that. So I can't really call it a single or whatever, but I'm definitely gonna call it a joint that we dropping.
Word.
You know,
Just keep it for what it is. That's a joint. Word.
It's a joint, and it's not on a project.
Mm.
It's a joint we cooked and like, yo, let's throw this out to people, But I do, we may do a 21 grams part 2. I don't know yet. Or I have another title. I have another title for, what we're working on. But 21 grams part 2 may be a super realistic thing sooner than later.
That's dope.
Like I said, yeah. And then I have another little, 3 to 5 piece I may throw out called "The City Never Sleeps, Beloved."
Mm. That's it. I mean, it gets no
He
better.
said, "That's it." He said, "That's it."
Gets no better than that, man. You got a bunch of shit coming up. The title sound dope. The project, I know it's gonna be dope. Like I said, when I first heard the 21 gram shit, that's why. Like I said, I heard it. I reached out to you. I was like, nigga, I gotta talk to you. This shit is crazy. Like I gotta talk. It wasn't even about just about reconnecting and having these conversations, man. Cause we always had this, man. Regardless of how much time passed, if I see you, it's always love. But when I heard some of the songs when I was listening to shit, I said, yo, this motherfucker saying some shit.
Thank you, man.
I gotta tell him personally. So just dope shit, man, you got coming up, man. And like I said, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining the podcast.
Shows too. We got some shows too.
Plug that too. Yep. When the shows?
Yeah, we got a European tour coming up in December. In the UK and Europe. I'm not gonna say just the UK because it's some dates we locked in for that. You'll probably see the posts or the flyers we start posting sooner or later.
That's all on what? That's gonna be on social media?
Yeah, we're gonna put some, for the people that live in like the UK or
okay.
Europe. Let me correct.
Yeah. Throw the continent in that motherfucker.
Yeah. That's happening, and Tru Soul, man. We just we on course and we in purpose, as I have repeatedly stated to people, man.
Word.
Peace, beloved, dope boy soul. Chocolate boy wonder, he doing his thing. I'm standing on my brother's shoulders. So shout out to him.
Shout out to Pete Rock. Word. One of the best to ever do it. One of my favorite fucking producers of all time. Pete Rock, if you see this shit, brother, I just wanted to tell you, you are one of the best producers to me ever. It's just true, man. Like I said, and this is the shit that I'm talking about. This is the shit that we should be comfortable doing. I'm telling him you're great. And it's these motherfuckers want to say, oh, he's great. Motherfucker, it's okay with shitting on people and telling somebody, oh, he suck, or motherfucker is trash. But when we uplift our people, oh, you dick right. Nah, brother, that's not what this is. This is me showing a lot of love and respect and admiration for one of the greatest producers of all time. Like, that's it, period.
Fact.
That's it.
Fact. And it's working with him is,
that shit crazy. Nigga, if I was in the studio, I'd lose my fucking mind. I'm leaving. I said, listen, first of all, listen to the fucking beat. Then you hear what this nigga saying over the shit. I'm leaving. I'm going out. What the fuck? I'm about to go down the street. I know how I am. I would lose my fucking mind. I just love that type of shit. I love that creativity.
Yeah,
I love that environment.
As a listener, it's different. As the artist, your ass is under pressure because we don't play no games. You understand? Shit better be on point. Shit better be on point, man.
Word, that pressure.
Yeah, so I mean, but definitely love my brother, man, and shout out to him for sincerely taking, the time to pull me into the loop, man. Like I said, I'm standing on my brother's shoulders. He still don't have shoulders. I'm standing on his shoulders, and the rest is up to God, and and our work ethic on top of that. So it's Tru Soul for a reason.
Yeah.
And like I said, and a lot of people wonder why I'm getting to all that, but why he signed me. Even I wondered that.
Mm-hmm. You there? Hold on, we having a little technical difficulty right now. Yeah, hold on a second. Amir, you there? Hold on, you coming back in the fold. Yeah, man. But again, like you're saying, here we go.
That's crazy how I keep getting clipped.
Yeah, I know. Stop fucking with the video, nigga.
Nah, it's somebody hit me.
Oh, okay.
And so, but nah, man, so yeah, I'm just, Tru Soul as a collective, we're just working on stuff, man. I look for, some groovy, funky, timeless music we making. I'm really looking forward to, the second pull up,
Word. Word.
because now, knowing how my brother worked.
Y'all cooking.
Yeah, and like I said, he signed me because of voice texture on his beats, and I never would. Call it the luck of the draw. You could call it divine intervention, or definitely there's a lot of artists that got skills and rapidly. We get it, but when he sat me down, he said, "Yo, the texture of your voice matches where my production is currently at perfectly. So let's cook." And when I heard that part, still was nervous as shit.
Hell
But
yeah.
at about 5 or 7 records in, I got my groove going. I'm gonna say 3 to 5, maybe.
Yeah.
3 to 5, and the rest was history. So we're about 60 plus, 65 plus records total that we've done. All of them probably won't make the album clearly, but some joints.
Exactly. But I say, but like you said, you cooking. The recipes is been created. This shit is motherfucking synergy that gelling. You know what I'm saying? And that's a beautiful thing, man. Because I know we're gonna get as fans, and like I said, just looking into what you've been doing then to now. I'm just excited, man, for whatever else got in store for you, man.
Man. When y'all hear this Dope Boy Soul,
I can't
I'm gonna
wait.
sit back. I'm gonna sit back and be teasing because I
can't wait, man. I really can't.
I know he went crazy. He didn't allow me to go nothing but crazy.
Yeah.
In the most Amirish way possible. So I respect it. It's all love.
Yeah. Well, my listeners, viewers, I want y'all to just again big up to this brother for coming through and stuff like that to the Eclectic Minds podcast. Like I said, Liv ain't joining us on this episode, but she did tell you to say what's up to you, whatever. She doing her thing. She all right though. We appreciate you for coming, man. I want y'all to hit the like button, subscribe. We got the YouTube page. We got everything on our podcast platforms, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, all of that shit. Hit us up on Eclectic Minds, Instagram, Facebook, social media accounts and stuff like that. This interview will be dropping as soon as I can get this shit dropping. We gonna do it raw, uncut. I ain't editing shit. You know what I'm saying? Because this shit, the video clip, I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Because when it comes down to it, man, that's just real life shit. Shit happens and that's that. But again, brother, thank you, man. Thank you for joining me.
Likewise, brother. Thanks for having me.
Jewels, man. Like I said, man, you said some shit to me today. I'm gonna be thinking about tonight, like this motherfucker is. Yeah, he on some other shit. he on some other shit, but it's positive shit, man. And it's shit I feel that that we I feel as though the black and brown people over there on the same page, man, is nothing that we can't do.
Okay.
It's nothing we can't do, man. But I appreciate you, man. Love is love. Salute, God. Yo, again, hit that like button, that subscribe button. This has been Eclectic Minds Podcast. Peace.